Our review of the early part of the century begins with a River Mersey scene of 100 years ago, taken from the Wirral side of the Mersey. There's a mixture of sail and steam. The famous Liverpool waterfront skyline is not yet in place. To the right of the picture, you can just see St Nicholas's Church. In November 1901, Wallasey ferryboat Snowdrop approaches Seacombe. She was licensed to carry over 1,300 passengers and was built in 1884. With propellers at each end, she could manoeuvre in both directions. It must have been hard work in the open navigation box on the upper deck in bad weather. She was sold in 1906. At this time, Seacombe Ferry was used by over 2 million passengers a year. In 1901, passengers would be met by horse buses and horse trams. It's a pity the cameraman didn't pan his heavy hand-turn camera around to witness this scene as well. The coordination between ferries and land transport was particularly useful for the 44% of Wallasey's working population that worked in Liverpool. There are not many ladies among this crowd. Mostly they are city gents, something in the city. If you lived near the ferry terminal, you could even hop home for lunch, so frequent and reliable was the service. In the same year, Lily, with her sister ship Rose, built the previous year, 1900, could carry over 1,800 passengers at 12 knots top speed. Passengers crossed Egremont Pier also in 1901. Egremont catered more for residents in the near locality and was never as busy as Seacombe. At this time, it had been open for 70 years. Wallasey Ferries headquarters was originally based here, and the Egremont terminus closed in 1939. These scenes, filmed by Mitchell and Kenyon of Blackburn, would have been destroyed but for Peter Warden, film historian, also from Blackburn. Let's take a trip on the paddle steamer St Tidno of 1891 on the Merseyside North Wales service. It was the flagship of the Liverpool and North Wales Steamship Company. At the turn of the century, very few took holidays away from home. If you were able to, you could have gone to Llandudno or Menai by sea. More than likely, you'd have taken a day trip. The crew and captain of 1901 are on board the St Tidno, which remained on the North Wales service until 1922. Another ship for North Wales excursions in 1901 was the St Elves of 1896. In the First World War, she became a minesweeper, returning to the river in 1919 and operating until 1930. The 1st of June 1910, the ladies of Neston enact a tradition dating back to 1814. The Neston Ladies' Friendly Society was founded in 1814 to provide mutual aid for the old, sick, lame and infirm members. The rules were approved in January 1817. In 1814, Neston was the largest town in Wirral with 320 households. Most of the population were tradesmen, colliery workers, sailors and agricultural labourers. Life in England generally was harsh because of the long Napoleonic wars and the naval blockades, a series of bad harvests and the rapidly growing population. About 40 women were involved in the Neston Society in 1814. Benefits included 4 shillings a week if a member was unable to work for more than 1 week, 5 shillings on the birth of a child, and £6 paid to a representative on the death of a member. The Constitution states that on the first day of June every year, the members meet at the club room at 10 o'clock in the morning and walk in orderly procession to church, where an appropriate sermon shall be preached. In 1997, the occasion is still celebrated. Today, the meeting place is alongside the malt shovel on the first Thursday of June each year in the afternoon. It still follows the same pattern. The ladies walk in procession carrying their flower-decked staffs via the cross to the church, accompanied by the Mayor of Ellesmere Port and Neston and clergy. Today, more children take part than in 1910, and the secretary is always a man.